Thank you everyone for joining us. Today we have Nexient here. We're super excited. They've hired quite a few Lambda grads. Ram is one of them. He is here on the call. We have Dan, Kristen, and Charlize here as well. I'm going to now turn the time over to them, and they are going to tell you guys why Nexient is great. So with that, I will turn the time to you guys.
Can you hear me, Megan?
Yep.
Okay. Hello all. It's great to have you all here. My name is Shailesh, and I lead the talent team here at Nexient. I've got a few colleagues with me on this call. Kristen Belug, she's our Chief Marketing Officer. Dan Broekhuizen, he is Director of HR, and Joram Clervius, Senior Developer. Joram is one of the first graduates from Lambda School, and he joined us earlier this year. Since then, we have hired 9 more people who have graduated from Lambda School. 6 have already joined Nexient, and 3 are joining us next week. We also have a few more people who are going through the interview process, and we are hoping that quite a few of you after this presentation would be interested in working with Nexient. Joram is here with me along with Dan and Kristen to answer any questions that you may have about Nexient working here after this presentation. We would like to take the first 20 minutes to go over our slides, followed by a short video, and then we would open it up for questions that you may have. That incidentally in picture is Joram. I think that was his persona for this year's Halloween. Let me give you a little introduction about Nexient. I'm one of the first employees of Nexient. When we started 10 years back, we wanted to build custom software for our clients. Today, our clients include some of the biggest companies across a lot of industries. And we essentially started with this idea. What if we could combine the best of the global delivery model of software development? It's known for its efficiency in building software at scale. Silicon Valley's product companies mindset, which are known for their innovation and disruptive business models, agile and elegant software development approach, and set them in technology hubs in the Midwest to create technical talent at scale that could collaborate in real time with US businesses. So that was the dream that we started with. That was the vision. Fast forward to 2018, and we realized that dream. We are a 500-person company today. We've got 65 product teams. We are known as America's leading product-minded development partner, and I'll shortly get into that. We are recognized by industry analysts like Gartner, IAOP, HFS Research for being the answer to solving one of the biggest software development challenges for US businesses. That is how to make it fast, how to make it efficient, and how to do it at scale. So we call our approach the product-minded development approach, or the product mindset. It's not something that we invented it. It was companies like Apple and Google and Amazon. They essentially started this. In a nutshell, it's essentially the product teams live the product, love the product, leverage it, and launch it. What they do is, we bring small cross-functional teams of developers and testers and UX designers and product managers, and they try to get as close as possible to users. They create different personas that would use the product and think like them. They try to get in the mind of users while designing the product. They do a lot of rapid iterations to make sure they improve the product and love it. They build it to be scalable so that they can easily create add-ons and integrate with other products and applications. And what they do is they get a minimal viable product out to market just a little bit before they think the product is completely ready. This actually helps them start getting market feedback fast, so they can add new features in every sprint, and their customers see new features being launched every few weeks, and the product teams keep on adding more value by continuing to add more and more functionality to their product, and on and on. And it's probably the way you're learning to build software at Lambda School, but that's not the way software development happens in Fortune 500 companies, especially companies that are not building software products. But that's where we essentially come in, and we are bringing this approach to Fortune 500 companies like Home Depot and Wells Fargo Bank. We are working with some of the biggest brands in the US to change that. Our customers are spread across a lot of industries. We work with large retailers like Home Depot and Best Buy and AutoZone. Our customers include healthcare companies like Johnson & Johnson and Hospital Corporation of America. Media and entertainment companies like Sony Interactive and NBC Universal, and financial services like Wells Fargo Bank, Oppenheimer Funds. Logistics companies like UPS, utilities like Gas South and Pacific Gas and Electric and Southern California Edison, and hospitality companies like Choice Hotels and Enterprise Rent-A-Car. About 30% of our customers include technology companies, remaining are Fortune 500, what we like to call as brick and mortar across various industries. Let's look at the kind of work our teams do. Right. So this is one of the. This is a technology company, and they've essentially come up with a Internet of Things based smart pill, and we essentially help them meet a critical product launch deadline that enabled their customers, which are large pharmaceutical companies, to get approval for this drug delivery mechanism. And how it works is we are essentially building a mobile app on iOS and Android that interacts with the smart pills that the patients inject and provide real-time updates to patients and their doctors. Right. Apart from the mobile apps, we are also building the user experience and the user interface on phones, tablets, and smartwatches. And it will essentially give real-time information to patients and doctors in terms of what times the pills were injected and pills were ingested, how much of the drug has been consumed, things like that. Another example is this building this service delivery platform for one of the largest retailers. This is one of our first clients. They also happen to be one of our largest clients. They're primarily into electronics, big box retailer, but they also now sell a lot of digital products like cellular services and games and movies and software, all over digital channels on a subscription-based model. Our team has built this core platform which enables them to add new digital products and services and integrates with all their internal systems, third-party applications, vendors, partners, etc. So a real-time example would be that tomorrow they could decide that they want to sell access and services, subscriptions to PlayStation Network. And all they need to do is create a short integration, and all of their customers would essentially get access to this new service channel, which essentially helps them remain competitive in today's marketplace. With this, I'll hand over to Dan to talk more about building your career at Nexient.
Hey everyone, thanks for having us over your lunch or breakfast or wherever you are. It's good to see you all. Jaram, you look really good on the video, by the way. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that before, but you're knocking it dead there, man. Hey, we want to talk to you about your career at Nexient. And I use the word your career because we believe here that you really do own your career. Jobs may come and jobs may go, but your career belongs to you. And no one person's career is like anyone else's. Your career doesn't come out of a box. It's something that you get to build and you get to work on and you get to be proud of. And we have a framework here in regards to your career that we really want to work with you on. We have a framework that will help you grow from an entry-level developer or a mid-level developer, either to a principal technologist. If you have a desire to grow into managing people, it'll help you lead people. If you have a desire to go into DevOps or something like that, we have a career model that will help you progress through that. Each step of our career model kind of defines what you need to do at that level of your career and the expectations for what you need to do to gain more experience and gain more responsibility. If you want to change tracks, we have the ability to show you how to change tracks. Let's say if you want to go from a project manager to a people manager, our career framework will do that as well. We have really strong coaching and mentoring programs. One of the cool things about Nexient is no one is the smartest guy in the room here, but we have a lot of very, very smart people who are willing at the drop of a hat, if you ask a question, to give you the answer. We have a lot of organizational learning here. We're growing fast, and our desire is that we bring people up through our framework as opposed to going externally and finding that talent. From what we've seen from our team members from Lambda, they're smart, they're agile, they're quick learners. They have a desire to grow, and it's a good match for us because we want to take people and really grow them up through our organization. You have an opportunity to learn new technologies here, new languages, different products. We also offer certifications. So if you have a desire to get certifications either in Microsoft or Java or Salesforce, any of those, we also offer certifications for that as well. We have a really good team here, and we have a really good career framework. And so we want you to understand that your career belongs to you. And the minute you show desire to grow your career, we're there with you, and we're going to help you grow your career as well. That in mind, what are Nexient people like? So when you take a look at all the Nexient team members here, there are some core characteristics that we have. There are some core values that are very important to us. And the reason I bring that up is because when you get a group of like-minded people who share the same values, then every day when you walk into work, everyone else is going to look at you and say, my goal is your success. Because we work in teams and because we all have these same values, we're going to make sure that together we succeed. And so I wanted to go over some of these values and talk to you a little bit about what they mean to us and what they would mean to you. We're going to be looking for these when we interview, and we're going to be making sure that these values are present. The first one we talk about is a technology athlete or a performer. We build software that's creative, and we do it in a very efficient and quick way. And like any great performer or any great athlete, we're always challenging ourselves to get better. We're taking a look at our past performance and we're saying, how can I improve on that? How can I get better on that? How can I learn new technologies, or how can I learn new methodologies in order to help me do that better? So from a get better standpoint, get more better, if I can use good grammar there, every day we're looking at ourselves and saying, how do we do better like great athletes and great performers do? The second thing is that we're just real generous collaborators here. We work as an integrated team. You cannot work alone here. And we believe that our best solutions come from when we bring a diverse group of people in and we include them. If the definition of diversity is being asked to the dance, then the definition of inclusion is being asked to dance. And we believe that great solutions come from a wide range of perspectives and different skills and different teams and different backgrounds. So we really push the collaboration here. The next one is just our curious mind. I mean, we have this insatiable itch, and it's called curiosity, and we're always asking why, and we're asking how. We want to learn new things. We realize that no one is the smartest guy in the room, and that the minute you realize you have something to learn, the value that you add to an organization increases. So we want you to continue to learn. We want you to learn a lot about our clients' business. Why are we doing that product for them? We want you to learn about new technologies. How can that help us with that? And then in general, we want you to learn about the world. We want this overall curiosity that says, why do things work? Because we've found that when you have that curiosity, it's the beginning of innovation. It's the beginning of improvements for our clients as well as for ourselves. The thumbs up, we talk about accountable partners. At Nexient here, accountability is not about blame. It's not about you didn't do what you say you're going to do. For us, accountability is all about a passion to get things done. And we really value hard work, and we value accountability. We make sure that you as an individual and as a team member are empowered to define solutions and then deliver on those commitments. Accountability also means that if you're stuck, that you raise your hand and you say, hey, I need some help here. There's nothing wrong with having such a passion to get things done that you're able to ask for help from other people. The other thing is we're honest challengers, and that really gets us a far way ahead of our competition because we're willing to challenge ourselves and we're willing to challenge our customers. We want to become like oxygen to our customers. We want to become trusted advisors to them. And so earlier when we talked about curious minds, when we talked about learning about our customers' business, there are times when we're going to challenge them. You know, we want to do the right thing, and we want to pay respect to our customers by challenging them on what they're asking for and offering our best insights and offering our best information that we have. And then the last thing, if you can't tell, I'm excited about this place. We're enthusiastic explorers. I mean, you know, who says they work at Nexient? This is fun, and joy and alacrity are a choice, and we choose every day to look at the tasks that we do here in that way. Look, we work hard, we play hard, and we're going to enjoy this journey with our clients and with our team members and with our customers, because at the end of the day, we get to choose whether or not we enjoy something like this, and we really believe that it's a good thing. So we have a lot of fun doing that. So you may ask, you know, kind of on top of those, if you interview, you know, what are we looking for? You know, and so when you interview, not only are we looking for portions of those characteristics, but there's a couple things I want to talk about. First of all is know your stuff, right? So whether you're graduating from a top tier school, you're graduating for Lambda, or you're self-taught, you're going to need to demonstrate that you understand the basics. You know, we talk about wanting you to go deep in your technology, but at the beginning, you know, don't take this education that you're getting from Lambda lightly. You know, they're pushing you hard, and it's a good program, and they want you to know your stuff. They want you to know the basics of the technology that you're in. Software development is always iterating and it's always growing, but you really need to know the basis technology that you have. The second thing is that we really want you to think on your feet. You know, we're going to ask you questions about your background. We're going to ask you questions about, you know, what type of technology. And if we get really daring, we're going to ask you questions about, you know, your school and stuff like that. But we're also going to ask questions to determine if you can think on your feet. And so, you know, it's called being a mental athlete, and it's being able to think quickly and come up with the right answers. Sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know, and to say, could you describe the question better for me? But we want to also assess how well you communicate with us. No one does anything in a void here. So we're going to take a look and see if you can think on your feet. The third thing is that, you know, software is a team sport. And some of the most important skills that we're going to be looking for are not only can you code, and it's not what you're taught in books, but it's also, you know, are you able to work with other people? You know, there's important ingredients here. There's the product mindset that it takes to build great software, but it comes from you being able to work with your team and come up with a solution together, as opposed to being the super rock star just coming up with the solution on your own. The fourth thing, we really want you to tinker with things. We want you to make sure that you're never satisfied with what you've worked on, but you keep trying new technologies and you keep trying to improve yourself. You know, this restlessness that we have with problem solving just doesn't apply to code. It applies to the way we look at product. It applies to the way we look at our teams. It applies to the way that we run meetings. And so never stop messing and never stop tinkering with what you're working on with an air of trying to improve that. And we're going to be looking for that in an interview. Do you tinker? Are you a problem solver? Are you someone that is not really satisfied with where you are or with what you're doing, but are always messing with things to make things better? And then the last thing we talk about is kind of funny. Don't just code, you know, but be curious. We talk a lot at Nexient about what we call a T-shaped athlete. And what we mean by that is not only do we want you to be really deep in the technology that you know, but we're going to ask you to get really wide as well. We're going to ask you to learn about technologies, and we're going to ask in the interviews, all right, besides coding, what else do you work on? And what have you worked on outside of school? And what other technologies are you investigating, even though it's not in your tech stack? And so, you know, the recipe for a long and satisfying career is not only someone who's really just deep in their technology stack, but someone who's also getting wide and someone who's discovering, you know, being curious and discovering new types of technology. Now, I went through these kind of quickly. At the end, we're going to give, we're going to share with you a URL to a blog that we have. I would strongly encourage all of you to take a look at that blog, kind of what we look for in our career model and what we look for in terms of our characteristics and what we look for in terms of interviewing. I'd like to give you a video that's about 15 hours long on what life is like at Nexient, because that'll give you a good image of that. However, we have a short video we want to show you. We've run it over Zoom before. I think sometimes there's some latency in the audio with it, but Shailesh, if you want to key that up, we'd like to show you a video of what life at Nexient here is like.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
What's special about Nexient is our ability to create great software at the speed of Silicon Valley for Fortune 500 companies or technology companies.
I've been at Nexient for about 2 years now. Before Nexient, I worked for IT support at Consumers Energy. Before that, I was a bartender. It's a great place to start your development career because they allow people who are just graduating college or people who have not developed themselves how to code their first opportunity here. I get a chance to work with a lot of great developers, so I get to learn a lot from them, and also some great designers here too.
I consider Nexient as my second family now. I spend almost half of my time here, right, the daytime, and the people here are just, you know, so much fun to work with.
No, Nexient's actually a great place to build a career. For junior developers that come into Nexient, we've got a training program and a boot camp that we put people through. They join, they go through the initial training, and then we've got really a 10-step career framework that will guide them all the way from entry-level developer all the way up to a principal technologist in the organization.
My advice for new Nexient people would be to go to the fun community events. There's a lot of cool activities that Nexient employees put on outside of work, and even at work. There's obviously the potluck going on right now. It helps you meet people, and knowing people really helps both in and outside of work. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great people that work here, and then it also helps during work. Everyone's a specialist in something, so eventually you're going to need help, and it really helps to know people.
It's important to be you because the way you think is different than the way others think. Your point of view or your perspective actually contributes to the project.
Here, I've probably learned more in the 3 years I've been here than I have in the 10 years I was outside of the company. It's a culture of growth. So for me, being surrounded by people like that and being the kind of person I am, it's helped me grow tremendously.
I hope you liked that video. We have created this microsite, nexient.com/Lambda School. If you go to this URL, you will get more information about Nexient. There's also a link for you all to apply. And everyone who applies, we would essentially get them into our interview process. With that, I would open up the floor for your questions.
All right, great. I will start the question. All right, the first question is, what sort of mentorship or growth opportunities are open to new hires?
I could take that question. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have sort of a pre-boot camp, a couple of weeks as soon as you get hired. This is not necessarily every new hire goes into that, but we have a couple of projects that we have you build just to familiarize yourself with technologies that we have on some of the projects that we have. And by the way, my name is Dram Clervius. I'm very happy to be here. I was part of CS2, and this is a little bit surreal for me, you know, to be able to be part of this brown bag for Lambda School on behalf of Nexient. And so these are two companies I care very much about.
Awesome. No, we're excited to have you here. Okay. Can you speak on the company recruitment process a bit? Having spoken to notable graduates on Twitter that inspired me to join Lambda, what traits separate a student fresh out to be hired? What traits separate a student fresh out to be hired at mid or senior level positions versus a junior developer?
Yeah, I think, so this is Shailesh. And if you look at our recruitment process as well as the recruitment process for any other company, typically there would be some sort of assessment, and they would peg you where you fit within the organization. What Nexient does is essentially the same. We are not looking at hiring everyone into entry-level roles, irrespective of what capabilities they have and what experience they build. So if you look at Joram, for example, Joram joined us after graduating from Lambda School, but he joined us as a senior developer because he had prior experience, and he was able to show competency where we assessed him as a senior developer to work with us. So I think it's a function of how you present yourself and how you come across. If you get assessed during the interview process as someone who is more of a mid-level or a senior level developer, that's the level that we would bring you on.
Great. What projects do junior developers work on, and what metrics determine their success?
So we don't have, it's not necessarily junior developers or senior developers only work on certain types of projects. We have teams. For example, part of this whole presentation, we showed that we have maybe around more than 65 teams. So every team will have a mix of seniors, juniors, and entry-level developers as part of that team. And it's just a matter of, I guess, different tasks for a specific sprint would be assigned to different members of the team. So then the people who are responsible in the team, for example, a team lead would assign something to somebody that they know that person can handle that specific task.
What's the engineering workflow like?
Could you repeat that?
What's the engineering workflow like? Like
I'm not sure.
Something else? Like, do you guys work in sprints or?
Yeah, it's all agile.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to add to that. So everything that we do is agile development. Everything that we work on is business critical for our customers. So it necessarily has a revenue or a customer service impact for them. The program that you'll work on are critical programs, transformation programs. These are highly visible programs. Most of them are using cutting edge technologies, and it's really interesting work. Everything is agile based, so we work on 2-week sprints unless a customer comes and demands that in certain cases they have 3-week sprints, but beyond that, I think that's essentially the engineering for us.
What are the characteristics like of your most successful engineers there?
I can start with that one. We went over the 6 characteristics that we look at, but they have drive. Angela Duckworth wrote a book called Grit, and in that book they just talk about a mixture between passion and perseverance. So our most successful candidates, number one, have drive, or they have grit. They come in and they just know that every day they're going to get up and they're going to have to work hard, and they enjoy the journey. I think the second thing for me, there's another critical book out. I've talked about this before, Carol Dweck's book on mindset. our most successful Jaram's laughing there. Our most successful developers have a growth mindset. You know, a fixed mindset. You're afraid of failing and you won't try because of that fear. And a growth mindset says, no, I'm surrounded by a lot of smart people, and learning is the best currency there is. And so I'm going to continue to learn. And then the third characteristic is just people who really care about Nexient and care about our culture. People who come in and say, I'm going to add to this culture, and I'm going to do my best to improve this organization, because if I improve this organization, we'll continue to grow.
Awesome. I would think that there would be different stacks based on the needs of each project that you guys have. Do you tend to keep developers focused on specializing in a stack, or are developers able to sort of pick the projects they want to work on or stacks they want to learn?
So I think, so there is some opportunity for people to grow and learn new technologies and focus on stacks that they want to build a career at. But at the same time, our business is to build custom software for our customers. So there would be at times programs that you get assigned to, which essentially, which focuses on your core competencies. So there are people who have wanted to move into, let's say, mobile development. There are some people who have come up and said they want to become Salesforce developers, and they have got those opportunities. And if you go back to the career model that Dan talked about, you do get opportunities to work, to switch your careers and switch your technology tracks, and Nexient will invest in doing that. But at the same time, you would also be expected to work on projects that we are signing up for.
Awesome. All right. Do you have Python opportunities or data science opportunities available?
We have limited opportunities for Python and data science. Data science is an area that we have not focused on. We are very carefully looking at areas in which we invest. When we decide to invest in an area, it's all about building a practice where we can show very strong capabilities to our customers. Data science is an area that is on our radar, but we haven't started building a practice yet. We have a lot of engineers who come with a deep Python background, but a lot of them essentially move into doing back-end or front-end work using other programming languages.
Great. What does a day look like for you guys? Is it 8 to 5 or 10 to 3?
So I can talk some more about that. Right before I came into this meeting, I was in another meeting with our client. So the client for my actual team is here. And so that's the case, right? Sometimes the clients do come for a visit. And so the people from the team can be meeting with those clients. But the day starts, pretty much every team has their own ways that they're kind of shaped in their own schedules, depending on how their clients have set it up. So we have our stand-up meeting every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's when it starts for everybody on my team. And from that point, we just go into working, And from that, I mean, we like to merge code and get some PRs in at least twice a day. But pretty much we have our day, we get here, we meet and decide on, who's going to be doing what. We discuss the work from the day before. If anybody's stuck, then we deal with that. And from that point, we just get our work done. If we have meetings, then they happen. But everything tends to be really straightforward. It's not like you'll get lost and not know what's the next thing you have to do. Most of the things that are on your agenda, they're there, and you just have to get them done and do them.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I think most people are in office between 10 and 4. There are some flexibilities available, but Nexient, you are essentially, because you are working in an agile environment, you are essentially in office for most of the time on a weekday.
As a profit-based company, what causes does Nexient allocate its resources to in and around the community?
Kristen wants that.
I think your thing is muted.
Yeah,
Kristen.
no, I'm unmuted. Thanks. So we have a corporate social responsibility committee that makes the choices about what they want to focus on. They've picked a couple of key focus areas. One of them is definitely giving back to the communities where we work and live. So I should have mentioned then the vast majority of our people are based where Jerome and Dan are sitting, which is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So we have a partnership with several local organizations. For example, an organization that focuses on early childhood education for disadvantaged families. One of the highlights that we all look forward to every year is at our annual holiday party, people auction off various ways to humiliate their managers. And all the money that goes for that, raised that way, goes to that particular charity. There are also environmental causes and Habitat for Humanity. I'm here in our Silicon Valley office. We sponsor the local high school robotics team in a very disadvantaged community here. So it may depend a little bit depending on where you're working, but the vast majority of our folks would be involved in things in Michigan. And we would definitely encourage people who have that as one of their passions to get involved in our CSR committee and make your suggestions known.
What are some things to do for fun in Ann Arbor?
Well,
Dan's a long Michigander, right?
well, I transported here a few years ago, so I've been here a while. There's a lot to do. So specifically in Ann Arbor, it's a great college town. There's great sports. There's a lot of arts. We're real close to Detroit. So if you're into the arts, ballet, things like that, art. In terms of the environment in Michigan, we're in the Midwest, so we're beginning our snow season here. So there's skiing, there's snowshoeing. You have to enjoy the outdoors. In the summer, it's absolutely gorgeous. A lot of lakes around here, a lot of hiking trails. It's a great state to be in. You get all four seasons here, and from a location of Ann Arbor, there's just a lot going on in this town. We're about 45 minutes away from Detroit. You get anything you want there in Detroit. Ann Arbor's got a great it's a great school here. There's a great academic base here. A lot of progressive thought. It's a good area.
Let me just add on to that. Ann Arbor was twice in 2018 voted the best city in America to live in. So it is, it's not just our opinion. A lot of people believe that it is the most educated city in America. So that tends to be people who are, lifelong learners. We showed you tubing down the Huron. That's one of the things that the Nexient people do together as a group. They have actually quite a lot of activities. I don't know if Jerome, you've been able to participate in any of those since you've joined. You could speak to, they're doing mazes and they're doing, what's that, giant football. I don't know. They've got the largest stadium in America. Jerome, maybe you could speak to some of the things, because Jerome was a Floridian before this, so it was a big culture shock, I'm sure, for him.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on what do you do for fun. What do you like to do for fun? And I find a lot of what I like, the gym. I spend a lot of time at the gym, and that's here. And I mean, besides that, I like the movies. I like a lot of the things that Dan mentioned. So I definitely do think there's a lot of things to do here. The biggest difference, depending on on where you're coming from, is the weather. So I have a heavy jacket on right now because it's cold, and I was born in Haiti and moved to Florida and lived most of my life in Florida before coming here. So that's my story. But this is a great town to be in. I do believe, I didn't see that it was actually selected as the #1 city in America, but I believe that because I like what I see around me.
That's awesome. I bet that was quite a shock for you, Jerome.
Yeah. I moved here actually in the middle of winter this year in January.
Oh my gosh.
So you survived a year. Almost.
That's great. No, it looks like a beautiful place just in the video.
Yeah.
How does Nexient keep people learning? Tuition reimbursement, online course reimbursements, conferences, etc.
So I think Dan mentioned those a while ago.
Yeah, I thought you did.
We did. We'll, you know, the tech stack represented here internally is incredible. So there's a lot of, not only do we have organizational learning, but we're a learning organization. And so we're constantly pushing people to ask questions. If there are conferences that you want to go to, we have a budget for conferences. Certifications, we pay for certifications. So there's a lot of opportunity we have here to continue your learning.
Yeah, we have a membership to Linda, which is a great online learning resource if there's a particular skill that you want to pick up as well.
How is public transportation there? Are there access things?
Yeah. Yeah, within the city of Ann Arbor, there's good public transportation here. There's always Uber, a lot of that, but there's a lot of public transportation. There's a public bus that comes right past our office and goes all throughout the greater Ann Arbor area.
Great.
The average commute is 20 minutes. I learned that while I was researching Ann Arbor.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that, I want to wrap things up, but I did want to kind of open it up to Drum. Is there any additional advice that you can give to Lambda graduates coming out and graduating, like tips to help them in their development after graduation, I guess?
Yes. One of the biggest things I think is that, you know, as you go through Lambda school, you're kind of drilled into becoming this learner, this person who likes to learn and who wants to keep learning. In addition to that, you're drilled into becoming this person who not only spends time learning, but also spends time working and using the skills you've learned. So I guess I'd like for everybody here to know that this, you know, Nexient is the place that those skills are put to use, right? So you come here with everything you've learned and your ability to build, and they put those skills to use. You get added to a team and you're expected to deliver. So don't be afraid of that. That's actually a great thing, because like I'm speaking to you right now, I haven't even been working here for a year yet, and I'm already the team lead of my team, of the UI team lead of my team. And it's a pretty big team. So it's a really big responsibility, but it goes to show that if you just go ahead and include yourself, just like Dan said a while ago, you know, I was asked to the dance. Not only that, but I was also asked to dance. But then even if you're asked to dance, you then have to dance, you know, so I danced. And I'm here dancing, and so pretty much, you know, you're going to be asked to dance. So you just have to make sure you dance, you know, that's the expectation, you know, and have fun dancing at the same time.
That is great. Well, this has been a great presentation. The first one that I've seen that's had a video, so very good. I know everyone's excited about it, and so I will drop that link that you guys put in there. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to our students, and we look forward to working with you guys more and getting more students placed.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.